online. Court officials said the judge has unspecified injuries but wasn't hospitalized. A courtroom marshal was hospitalized for treatment of a gash on his forehead and a dislocated shoulder. The 30-year-old defendant was punched, wrestled to the floor, and arrested on multiple new felony charges, including battery on a protected person. His defense attorney did not respond later to telephone and email messages.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
Morning snow showers today with cloudy skies throughout the remainder of the day. Our morning high will be 32, but it will gradually drop to 29 degrees by 6 p.m. this evening. Cloudy skies tonight with an overnight low of 25. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a high of 36. Cloudy with late afternoon snow on Saturday with a high of 39. And cloudy on Sunday with a high of 37 degrees. That is Look at News for now. I'm Matt Durzik for Beaver County Radio News, 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and streaming worldwide at beavercountyradio.com.
It's time for Notes on Local Entertainment, the show highlighting the best in local talent. Hosted by Scott Tady Entertainment, editor for the Beaver County Times, and Eddie Crow.
It is Teleforum. Time always flies on a Thursday. First, it was Ask the Commissioners. Hang on, do that again. I want people to see you do that. First, it was Ask the Commissioners. Then it's the Best of Beaver County, Mike Romine. Good to see Al again. Killer pizza.
Good pie there.
And on Thursday, Scott Tady comes by. And it's a perfect day. Scott Tady, he of the Beaver County Times, the entertainment editor. It's currently 31 degrees and spitting ice. So let's talk about pools that are opening up. I'm serious. It gives us something to look forward to. You just posted that some pools are opening up, are the plans.
Well, yeah, and all kinds of controversy and people debating on social media. Bottom line, Beaver is opening two new stages this year. One is going to be next to the courthouse, that Quay Park, smaller stage. It's where singer-songwriters like trios could play. Just a little accoutrement to make the park nicer. But then the bigger stage is where the pool used to be. The key words used to be. Beaver Pool closed. Way too expensive to renovate, the officials said. So they're building a community center, and you can rent it there. You'll be able to host events, parties, everything from bingo to your graduation party. And then there's going to be concerts on the outdoor stage. They're expecting about 1,500 people could watch from the lawn. They've booked the first show. It's Don Gatlin and the Kenny Rogers Band. He's got three guys who were in Kenny Rogers' band for 21, 25 years.
Old school dudes.
They played Johnny Carson. They played the Grammy Awards. They did it all, seen it all, been there, done that. Great musicians. Don Garvin, of course, a Chippewa native. He had national success with his band. Him and his brother were in a band together, the Gatlin brothers. They became the Ellis brothers. Bottom line, so things are moving forward, but there are a lot of people in Beaver mad that the pool is not coming back.
All right.
Just so I don't get people screaming at me.
Yeah.
They are trying to bring it back. There's some kind of group called the Friends of the Pool, whatever, and they're raising money to bring a pool back.
Are they ducks dressed like humans to fool people?
A pool is an expensive thing. Me personally, I would look what Chippewa Township is doing and build a splash pad.
It's what Ambridge did.
Right? Yeah. Much less expensive, much less liability. You're still giving people say, well, we need to give kids something to do. That's something to do. The people, to me, it's old timers who were pining for 1972 again. They think that a municipal pool is worth $3 million. Meanwhile, their kids are booking their trips to Barcelona for junior year high school. That's where they're going to go to the beach. They're not going to be hanging out at the municipal swimming pool. Things have changed. Your thoughts?
Do people understand how expensive liability insurance is?
Ooh. No, they don't.
Do people understand how expensive? You're talking about renovating an old facility?
Yes.
That's not like going in and fixing a boiler. That is all new stuff. You're not renovating an old facility. You might be renovating the property, but the stuff that you're putting in to run the pool, to keep the water clean, because let's be honest, a pool, even in as nice a neighborhood as Beaver, that's a whole lot of chromosomes blending, okay? The filtering system, it's extremely expensive. And if the people, they want the pool, pony up the money to build the pool.
I'm totally in favor of that, and that's what some are doing. And I wish them all the luck. And go if it happens, it's a great thing for everyone. But if I were a Beaver resident, I would not want my taxes to go up to pay for this. And the event stage is just a fraction of the cost. The structure's already there. The band shell's already there. It's just adding a wooden stage and a couple other things, and good to go. And now we'll have shows. And to me, any place that's showing more concerts in Beaver County, I'm in favor of. Another thing with the pool, you're talking about the lifeguards. We saw that in Allegheny County a couple years ago.
All the pools that they never opened because they had nobody that could work them.
It happened as close as Beaver County, Economy Pool.
Economy Pool, yeah, where I go throw. It was open a little.
Right.
But
so I get the nostalgia for having a pool in your community, but I don't know how applicable it is in 2024. And again, if people want to raise money for it, God bless them. I wish them luck. I hope it happens. I hope there is a pool. But to me, I like what Beaver's doing, forging ahead with an outdoor stage and community center, which anyone can rent, and you could have any kind of events there, parties, whatever. To me, that's a good get.
Scott Tady is my guest from the Beaver County Times. I'll ask you a question that I asked this morning of the commissioners. How often do you get screeched at about stuff that you have nothing to do with?
The story sparked a lot of debate. No one was yelling at me. They were kind of more yelling at the Beaver Borough for the decisions they're making. But, it's good for business. The more people comment on it, the more clicks it gets, and the more, my bosses are happy when people are stirred up about something. We're giving them a format to discuss things, right?
What is the most important thing for Beaver County entertainment that we're not paying attention to? What one thing? And it always comes down to money, always. But you're talking about a stage. The stage in Rochester is going to be back up and running.
Yes, exactly. A place for people to play. I have bands talk to me. Okay, Beaver County, where do I go? Who do I talk to? And I give them the same 3 or 4 names of bars that actively book shows. But it would be nice to have a stage like this. It's kind of it would be like a mini Heartwood Acres. It's not going to hold 3,000, 4,000. But if it's a show, there are 1,500 people there on the lawn having their blankets, their chairs, or picnic baskets, whatever, listening to Kenny Rogers' bandmates and a Beaver County guy's national act. Why not?
How much more difficult is it to find a place? Or no, let me rephrase that. Why is it more difficult to find a place to do a gig? More difficult now than it was 5 years ago. It wasn't all COVID, or was it?
I think it's good question. The chicken and the egg. Is it the bars aren't promoting it? Is it the bands aren't promoting it? I think it's the people aren't coming out as much as they used to. I think is a big problem. They have more entertainment options. And you've heard me preach about this for years now. I'm a big proponent that shows should start at 7:30, not at 9:30. I think you're losing a big segment of the market. And their credit, a lot of bars have picked up on this. You know who really has? The craft breweries. They're having entertainment on a weekend at 4 o'clock.
4 and 5 in the afternoon,
5 o'clock.
Yes.
There's a lot of people with disposable income that don't feel like going to a show that starts at 9, the main act doesn't go until 10:30, and they're not hitting their stride till it's close to midnight. It's time to drive home after you've had 2 drinks. So I'm a big proponent of that, and I think some bars are catching on. The craft breweries and wineries have definitely figured it out, and that's why they're doing well. So to answer your question, I think people weren't supporting as much. They weren't coming out. And I hear the stories, and it was ahead of my time of Maury's Speakeasy, and there'd be 400 people on a Wednesday night to see B.E. Taylor, and I'm jealous I wasn't there. Will we ever get back to those days? I think there's an interest in entertainment, live music, but it's got to come from the support of the people first, and then the bars will realize we can make money off it, and here we go.
What age did you start saying, what time's that show, rather than who's the show?
And where is there parking there? You mean I got to go to Shady Side
and
park?
How much parking do I? You got to walk across the river? How does this work? When did it change for you?
Probably 40, I would say. It doesn't stop me, but I do complain about it. I won't avoid a show because I'm worried about the crowds or the time or the parking, but I will complain about it. How's that? That's my right.
No, how many shows did you keep track last year? How many shows did you attend? I wanted to ask you that now that the new year's end. How many?
I reviewed 60 national act shows. I would say 60 bands that are touring the country. That's not counting the shows at Beaver Station, the shows at Vermont, Big Swing.
Those were the PPG shows and the PNC Park shows.
And not to disparage those shows, because I'm a big fan of those shows as well, but it would have been too hard to count. But just for my own sake, I'm wondering, how many, because I do an end of the year top 10. Well, how many shows did I see? So I kept track this year. My record was like 95 back pre-COVID, and I would usually average like 75, but it's the numbers went down to like 60, and I guess I'm getting a little choosier. And now it's so numbers driven. My all newspapers are looking, how many clicks did you get? How many likes did you get? So if I'm going to a show that I care about, but maybe other people don't, I have to start making a business decision. Is it worth going to this show?
I really want to see that show, but not too many other people want to see that show. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in a 100-seat venue.
Yeah, I don't like that it's numbers driven, but everything is.
Yeah, it's finances. It's even if they hate you. That's what I wanted to tell you. Even if people hate you, if they posted, you got them.
I am proud of the. I mentioned I did my top 10 of those 60 concerts. They were at 8 different venues, so at least I spread it out. I didn't consciously do that, but everything from a club cafe show where there were 60 people to a stadium show where there were, in Taylor's case, 77,000 people. I'm glad at least I hit all the venues I could.
You're going to give me the top 10. Have you posted? I haven't seen the top 10 story yet.
Yeah, I ran over the holidays, so maybe some people missed it. There was some. My favorite was a band called the Sadies. They're from Toronto, and they do country rock, but they do like 60s psychedelic country rock, if you can imagine that, like Graham Parsons kind of.
My hat and boots are melting.
It's freaky.
Okay.
Great band, but I had some obvious ones. Eric Clapton to me was the surprise show of the year. He was outstanding. I thought he would come. He would go through the motions. He would sing Cocaine and I Shot the Sheriff. The band, he and the band were on fire that night. Eric really brought us. So that was one of the high ones. I had the Eagles surprisingly high, and believe me, I know I've seen them 1,000 times. I thought they brought it. Everything from Ed Sheeran to Pink at the stadiums, just a real mishmash. Billy Strings, we've been talking about him, the great young bluegrass picker, and that was like 7th or 8th, just a phenomenal musician. His whole band is phenomenal.
If you can play bluegrass, you can play anything.
That's a good point.
Yeah, if you can keep up with the bluegrass and the pattern changes and just the digital dexterity to sound okay at it, there's nothing that you really can't play.
Got good news for you. My column this week, I'm talking about a bluegrass festival in Beaver County coming up. The Winter Ice Jam. It's at the Ramada by Wyndham in Big Beaver, just north of Beaver Falls. Mm-hmm. The hotel's booked. You can't get a room right now. Everyone's booked. It's a 2-day thing. I have the dates. It's in, I want to say I don't get it wrong, but it's in my column this week. But I went to last year's, and it was a hoot. The ballroom was filled. I got like the last seat there. It's just like they had like 20 bands just whipping through their best half-hour music, and real quick set changes. You're getting nonstop music. It's free, but they raise money for charity by auctioning off, merch. They'll have a signed autographed guitar, or they'll do, whatever they make, anything to sell, but. Free bluegrass. Some of the best bands in Western Pennsylvania and Eastern Ohio are coming here for this, and I highly recommend it.
It's just about impossible to be in a bad mood with bluegrass going on. Just even the "Oh Brother, We're Out There," Man of Constant Sorrow stuff. You still feel uplifted. Give me the show that you were the most excited about, that you ended up the most bummed out, disappointed, annoyed about last year, because we all have those shows. Oh, I'm so looking forward to that, and you go and it's like, wow, that was just very bad.
I know I mentioned before the like Pixies, the alternative rock band. I don't get them, and this was the year I thought, okay, I'm going to get them. I'm going to understand it. I'm going to see why. But my answer is going to be the Dead and Company show, because I never got into the show, because Star Lake had the most biblical traffic jam in the history of Star Lake, and I tried 5 different routes to get in, and when it got to the point, I'd already missed the first set, and they were on the second one. I turned around and left. So you can't be more disappointed than a farewell tour of a band you like, and you don't even get into the venue because the venue was so ill prepared for that show.
Think they'll do better this year? Did they learn anything? Because I saw there were events after that show that it wasn't as biblical, but it was still jacked up.
They learned. While they charge more for VIP parking, a lot more people are doing that. So they'll get there. I learned to get there like at 4:00, and you're just going to make an afternoon of it. Bring a cooler, have some food, have some drink, bring a lawn chair, and sit there in the parking lot, make some friends. Otherwise, for a sold out show, you're going to be spending a lot of time on routes 18 or 22 in a bumper to bumper traffic.
Look, we're almost a Weirden still.
Yeah. How about Den Company? They're thinking of doing the Sphere in Las Vegas. They might do a residency.
What do you think about that? I understand it's easy money and easy living. You go and you live in a very nice hotel in Vegas for a week or 6 weeks or however. Is that the future?
I think it is. It's a destination for people now.
Right.
Oh, here's a reason to go to Vegas. I can go see Adele, and it's not like Adele's coming to Pittsburgh, so you make a whole trip of it, and I got no beef with it.
Is the lowbrow version of that the rock and roll cruises that you can now sign up for?
Oh, that would be tough. I'm not a cruise person. Yeah, I think you're right. That would be fun for like the first couple bands, and then I think I'd be trying to swim ashore.
Which would be worse, the cruises that have all the old aging spandex and wrinkled rock and rollers walking around, or the cruises that advertise, we want you to bring your kids? Which would be a bigger help for you?
At least the spandex, I could get on board with the music. I'd have to say that.
Okay, the kids. Did you do a video this week? That convertible car of yours would look good in a video with the snow blowing around.
I should do one. It's been a while, I got to be honest. I need to get on that.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
I didn't mean to throw you under the bus by asking. What should I have asked you that I didn't? I'm just...
Man, time is flying.
Don't know.
I don't know. What else is... what are you looking forward to this early January?
I am looking forward to getting to spend more time with you on a regular professional basis.
Oh, Tuesday, I'm going to the Bob Dylan Jukebox Musical at the Benham Center. You're familiar with that term, right? Jukebox musicals?
I have no idea. Do I look like I hang out at the theater? Do I look like I'd have a conversation with Lauren Boebert? No. What is it? That's
what they call it, like when ABBA came out with Mamma Mia, the Broadway version. It's just an excuse to play 25 ABBA songs. And then Billy Joel did it, Elton John did it, you name it. Neil Diamond's done it with the Beaver County Girl now playing the lead role. But they've done, it's called Girl from the North Country, based on a Dylan song. It's opening at the Benham Center Tuesday. They found a way to weave like 25 Dylan songs. It's set in Duluth, Minnesota, which of course where Bob basically is from.
He was from Hibbing,
set
Minnesota.
Not too far away. Set in like the late 30s, early 40s. But I'm wondering, they're using songs like Hurricane, which of course was based on a true story of a boxer framed for a double murder in 1970s New Jersey. Yeah. So how are they weaving that into a show set in 1941 or 40, whatever? I'm real curious.
This sounds like a slightly fancier version of the old laser rock show.
Ooh, Laserium.
When you would go to the planetarium,
Carnegie Science Center,
and they would play these. They'd play a Pink Floyd or whatever, and it'd just be lasers. And you'd sit there and look around and go, "How many of these people could spell their name right now?" Kind of sounds like that.
My first job in this business was writing commercials for the Laserium show, the police show, when I was in college.
The police?
But I do remember this. The guy who did the laser, the guy who sits behind the machine and makes them do the squiggly things in midair. Back when they did it live, now it's probably programmed. Oh, they made like $26,000 a week or so. They made a ridiculous amount of money because there were so few people that actually had the skill to do that back in the 80s. But that was back in the 80s.
You're talking about the upgraded version of a projectionist.
Yeah, but it was live. It used to be live, believe it or not. Now it's all hit a mouse click and there's your show probably.
Did he wear the white jacket to make it look him scientific-y?
He looked like a Scandinavian orchestra conductor. Like pale,
running
long
a
hair.
laser show.
Exactly. It worked.
Part bat. All right. Thank you, sir.
Good talking to you.
Good being talked to. Scott Tady. You can read him at the Beaver County Times. Read the articles. The new one about the pool. Comment vociferously about how you disagree with it.
I need the clicks.
Get the clicks. It's all about the clicks. All about the Benjamins.
Thanks for tuning in